Hey, Crunch Bunch Brothers, that's the gold. Today is the first Sunday after Labor Day. The year is 2014. Tim Brasco. That's the gold. Because we're the horsemen when we play football, man, right? Right. Well, let's take a look at our field now. This is what's left, guys. They put up soccer nets on the Crunch Bunch football field. And guess what? There's nobody here. It's about 11:20 a.m., right? There's our sidelines. Nobody here. Not even for soccer. They put up these freaking soccer nets, not even using them. My God, look at our field. It's all chewed the fuck up from playing soccer. We chewed it up every winter, didn't we, you know? There was goose shit all over the place. But look at these freaking rocks. Freaking rocks on the Crunch Bunch football field. And you know what? Maybe it's the way God wanted it, because the grass grew back at the beginning of every season for us. As much as we chewed it up. There's ghosts out here now. Our ghosts of our youth. Everywhere from Mark Dalton's cheesy freaking Phil Simms imitation jersey. You remember that little piece of crap? Not Mark, the jersey, right? All the expensive jerseys we had down in this park too, right? We all spent a lot of money in our youth. All these great jerseys. But yeah, so this is it. This is the Crunch Bunch field. This freaking gas, whatever you want to call these freaking things, gasoline drums, trash cans on the sidelines of our goddamn field. This is a sin, man. This is a sin. But I'm going to come back again. This is our home, man. All the shit that we did here. Crunch Bunch Field. Tell you guys a little something right now. Tony, and you knew this already because I've said this before, Tony's the smartest quarterback I ever took the field with. And I played ball in my school days too. Hank Klink, my hero, and he was too. Smartest football player I ever took the field with, right? My first Sunday down here, my brother Lynn, God bless him, and he's a good guy. He told me about this because he was friends with St. Jake's. Now, Jake's was playing touch games on the front lot of the American Can Company, I think it was called. It's right on the turnpike over there, you know? And would play like 3-on-3 games, and I got bitten by the football bug. I hadn't played since my school days. And Lynn and Frank told me about this place, and it was the greatest. The first Sunday I showed up. Teams are being picked as always, right? I'm with the brothers, no big deal, you know, I just wanted to play football. I'm in my 20s and I'm pretty damn good. And son of a bitch, man, it was easy to see that the team I wanted to get on was with Hank and Tony. No doubt about it, man. I had a good first game because I was kind of nuts. I was young and in shape. I could move pretty well, you know. That was the last time I wasn't picked for their team, I'll tell you that much. And it was proud moments for me, man, playing football with them every week on their team. And I'll tell you, I learned how to play fucking dirty football like a four horseman. I learned that from Hank. And he wasn't into the wrestling I was. But he had a four horseman mentality when it came to playing the football down here in the park. And I learned that from him. We pissed off a lot of people, didn't we, guys? We pissed off a lot of people with the style of football we played. It was all good. So we had Hollis brothers, right? We had Manson and Junior. And we had Pete Genovese, Billy Hojecki, Al Tanko, Jimmy Pizzillo, right? We had the brothers too. Mikey, Paulie, Joe showed up once in a while. Johnny and George. Remember that time George showed up wearing shoulder pads? We let him play for a while. Wearing shoulder pads. That's how freaking sick we were, man. We had some good quarterbacks down here too, not just Tony, but Dalton. He was a damn good Crunch Bunch quarterback. Dalton was damn good. Now I'm talking the days before Hank, who hung it up first, and Tony hung it up after Hank. I'm talking the days before those guys. Ed Marty would come down here. Marty was fantastic. Marty was fantastic. He was like a little water bug. You wanted to squash the shit out of him, but he was a nice guy. He was a damn good Crunch Bunch quarterback. One season we had this guy, his name was Malatesta. He was damn good, you know. He never quite fit in, though, because, you know, we used to tear the shit out of each other, and then we were best friends afterwards. He never quite picked up that concept, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of head games down here. That's how you played football down here. It's all head games, and it was fun. It was freaking fun. But this guy Malatesta, rumors used to fly that he had played some semi-pro in Canada or something. I don't know. I used to hear that shit, and we were a lot more gullible back then in the 70s or 80s or whenever the freak we played, when we were young men. So yeah, Malatesta was one of them too, another damn good quarterback down here. And then Elvis, you know, that was late in Tony's career. I think Hank was gone by then. Elvis was an all right guy, you know, great arm. You know, not the brightest quarterback, but a good guy to have around. And again, this is before Richie, and it's no reflection on Richie. Richie was all right, man. I remember that one of the Giant tournament games. I was in 2 games at the Giant Stadium tournaments. And I can remember Richie, one of the tournaments. He was late. He got the time wrong. So Tanko's quarterbacking. Somehow we're just barely hanging in there. And in the second half, Richie finally gets there, and it was like out of a frickin' movie, man. Richie comes charging onto the field, grabs the ball, leads us down the field, and we win that game. I mean, that was like Hollywood script type of freaking football, you know? See, other memories of down here. I'm on defense. My favorite position was linebacker, because those were the sickest dudes. They probably still are, too, but they were certainly sick people back in the day. So that was my favorite position, linebacker out here. Outside linebacker, not middle, outside. I loved it. And I remember Dalton was on the other team one week, and he's quarterback. And you know Dalton, he would get an attitude, and he wanted to test you once in a while, too. And as good as he was, you know, you had to let him know, hey, you're still Mark Dalton, and I'm not. I'm better than you. You know what I mean? So Dalton comes charging down this sideline, going left to right. And I'm playing linebacker. I'm the last one left. And Dalton got that look in his eye that he was going to plow the freak into me. And he did, too. But guess what? I had that look in my eye that said, guess what? You ain't taking me out. I'm not backing down. So him and I had a major collision. I felt it immediately in my back, and I didn't show it. He must have laid on the ground for a few seconds, because you could just, as I turned and walked away, you could just hear guys come running over to see if he was okay. So Dalton must have stayed down for a few seconds. But I'll tell you what, I had hurt my back pretty bad. Didn't want to show it, but that game I did, and I stayed in there. That's Crunch Bunch football, guys. So anyway, I mean, I'm just going on telling stories and shit here, obviously. You know, it's kind of cool. I was hoping some of you guys can make it, but I understand. It was great. You remember we'd have our end of season parties, right? We'd have our end of season parties after the final game, which was always, what, the Sunday up to and including Palm Sunday, right? Sometimes it's late March, sometimes it's in April, but that's how we did it. And there's the tree. I'm walking towards this tree here. That's the tree where we would put our bags, our gym bags. Maybe change our cleats or whatever, you know what I mean? So I guess it was one of the Palm Sundays after the final game of the season, we got together to give out the awards and the party and, you know, brag about how great the season was. And for a couple years there, no kidding, right after the party, I would come back here late in the day, still daylight, and I would just come back here, walk down to the field and take a look one more time. I mean, that's how into it I was. I'm sure you guys were too, you know, but it's just the way I was. I was so into it. And I would come down here one more time. And I'd just walk. And it's weird. Hopefully you guys can understand, but I'd come down here and I could still hear us playing as if you guys were all here. And it was like 6 hours earlier in the day. I could still hear us. You know, and it's almost like I could see us still playing. And I'd stand and just look around for about 10, 15 minutes. And there were a couple seasons, too. You know what? I'm not bragging, but maybe I am bragging. I was so into it. There were a couple seasons I never missed a Sunday. Literally. I made every game. There were a couple seasons there. Because you know what, guys? Not only is this the greatest game on earth, but this was the greatest place to play it. And I had the greatest goddamn teammates to play with. So yeah, this is a good place to be at a good time in my life. And I hope you guys think so too. So this is it. Crunch Bunch Field, one last view here. Like I said, I just can't believe soccer nets in a Crunch Bunch Field. The field's all chewed up. And nobody's using it anyway. It's the first Sunday after Labor Day. What the freak is everybody doing? Oh, God. What's happened to this freaking world? Gents, let me tell you guys something. Whenever the time comes, all right? Whenever my time comes and my number's up, I want you guys to spread my ashes down here, I think. You know what? Because legally we can't be buried here. I can't be buried illegally. But I'll be damned. I bet you guys could sprinkle my ashes here for me. I know some of you guys would probably piss on them too. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Outside of my two daughters, it's the greatest thing I ever had in my life. Playing football down here with the Crunch Bunch. Yeah. This is it. Alright, guys. All the ones I didn't mention your names today. Let me see if I can rattle off a couple real quick too. You know, Rudy. Oh, geez, Rudy. Wally was great down and having down here. You know what I mean? Wow. Keith. Jimmy. Pete, nickname Animal. God rest his soul. He hated that nickname, by the way. God rest his soul. Yeah, we had some good ones. Davey, I remember Davey. The last couple of years I played, Davey was starting up. Same with Pez. I got to know Pez a little bit last couple of years, you know. Pez is a damn good guy. Well, you all are. You know that. You all are. Craig. And Eddie. Oh, God. Playing defense with them fucking guys. I'll tell you something. Craig would be the defensive back on my side when I was playing linebacker. It was one of those